C'est bon. To record. So we're good? Good to go? Mics are ready?
Good. Mics are ready. What's your distance?
One subway away. 12-inch subway.
Away.
One subway away. Hi, Matt. How are you?
All right. Hi. I'm super good. And we are having, I think, the same setup today. Our sound the same. Our voice sound the same. And we are a subway away from our mic.
Subway away. Yeah, I think it should be a distance that is available now in the international metric. The subway, a foot long.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if you thought about it because we haven't even talked about it between ourselves. But today is our 10th episode that we record.
The episode X.
Episode X. That's so crazy. Already 10. Wow.
10 episodes. Damn. We have talked during 10 hours. Can you imagine that?
Oh yeah, I can talk like for 100 hours, but it's still really impressive. We've probably talked a bit more than that.
Yeah, that's for sure. But still, 10 hours recorded, so it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
So what's the great news of the week, by the way, that you can tell everyone that is listening to us, wherever they're listening?
The great news of the week?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have one. Well, the great news of the week is that yesterday, after 6 months, after 6 months of
that's not that one, but okay, let's go for it. Okay, after 6 months, whatever.
After 6 months of non-playing, I played tennis yesterday, and I was really, really fucking happy.
Nice.
Now you can.
How was it?
Now you can go with the real news.
Oh yeah, we have been. It's okay. We have been accepted by iHeartRadio, which is the biggest podcast platform and music in the US. But it's okay. Like I get the tennis part. It's cool also.
Yeah. We start. No, it's like a build-up. We start by the little one, and then boom, we've been listed on iHeartRadio, which is really amazing. I think we submitted like 3 weeks ago. And I was kind of wondering if it will go through, and it did. So that's really amazing. We are opening to the US people, as community, and that's great news. I'm really happy.
Yeah, and also like last week, it was Spotify also that we got last week, at the end of last week. So I think right now we are on everything. Which was a struggle, but that's cool. That's cool.
All right, enough great news. What are we talking about today, my friend?
I have no clue.
You have no clue, huh? I don't have any clue either. There was one thing that, if I just scroll through my last 24 hours, if I go 72 hours, I had a big party Saturday, and Sunday I felt like total shit all day, and yesterday it's like now it's like almost 2-day hangover after a big party, and
you're getting
but
old.
it's also it's also the big mess up that I don't know you, but for me it just messed with my brain for 2 or 3 days. I'm not the clear, focused guy. And it's not just like the next morning it's literally until this morning. So 48 hours later, or maybe a bit more, that this morning my head is back to, I would say, normal. And yesterday I was, and what I would say is I feel I'm weak. I feel that my mental strength is down. So yesterday, I came back into that overwhelmed feeling and into that fear of lacking money in the future, or like everything just came back. All these doubts, all these fears, all the sense of overwhelm came back to me, and I was not in. Well, I mean, it was not that bad, but I was not in a super mood yesterday. Yesterday I just did pretty much nothing. Um, and this morning, I'm saying that because this morning I started back my meditation practice,
Ooh,
and it
interesting.
it felt so good. It felt so good, man. I think it's the first time in all the time that I meditated that I just didn't want to stop. I had a 15-minute timer, and after the 15 minute, I felt so good that I just didn't want to stop. And I think I did like 20, 25 minutes. And I feel really grounded this morning. Um, so
So,
yeah,
so you want to,
that's,
so you want to talk
let's
about
see if,
meditation?
well, and we could also unveil our little secret about about our really first recording.
True.
So
We, we,
tell
we
us
talked
what
about that in
happened.
the first episode. That's true. That so when we started this adventure, the first topic we didn't do like a topic about what is naked or anything. The first topic we talked about was meditation, and it was because something that happened during the week. I had discussion with people, and people asked me so many questions about meditation. How do I do my meditation? What it is for me, and how do I get into it? Because when you have discussion with people about meditation, they see this thing where you're in the middle of the trees, half naked, you know, and you're just staying there for like 3 or 4 hours, not doing anything, whatever. I don't know what is the vision about that people have on that, but you know.
Yeah,
And so
but just
we did our first recording on that. And what happened is that it was a good recording in terms of content. It was a really bad recording in terms of the sound. And yeah, it looks like it was out of our ass. So obviously we had no back for everything. And this is where we said, okay, we need to equip ourselves because what we say is good. The way it is, the medium is not good. So we have a really big problem with the medium. But it's going to
okay.
be interesting to do after like the 10th episode about coming back to the roots.
Yeah, exactly. So that's your version. I'm gonna say my version. So basically, what happened is that, well, you remember that I wrote to you one day and I said, dude, let's start a podcast and let's record tomorrow morning. So the next morning we were already recording, and we just took whatever we had. Like I had my AirPods, but I think you had.
My
Did
AirPods
you have
also.
AirPods? Also,
Yeah.
but for some reason, so we recorded, and sincerely, I felt great. I felt amazing. We did an hour long or 45 minutes about meditation, which is the concept that you brought that day. And when we just finished all that, I felt so good. I was like, wow, we really have something. We have one episode right now, and it's like just out of the blue. After 24 hours, we decided it. Boom, that's done. I just felt we were in action, and that being in action was really the key to make that thing going. And then we listened to it. We listened to
And
it, and the
even,
sound
yeah.
is just horrible, but horrible. Like, we're really naked, okay? We present to you everything uncut, unscripted, all of this, but that sound was just impossible to
Yeah.
publish.
Yeah, no,
And
no, no.
we just said, okay, look, let's equip ourselves and do something of a bit more value technically. And then you decided we should talk about what is the podcast, what is Naked.
Mm-hmm.
So we got ourselves better stuff, and then we recorded what is Naked, which made more sense to be the first episode of Naked. But we have an episode 0, which is meditation, but it's so shit that I think that would be cool today for the 10th episode to just bring back that meditation topic, and just because for me it is right there today. I just did it this morning. I missed it because I didn't do it for a month, or I didn't remember last time I did it. And yeah, I don't know what you think, but for me, I would love to go back on that.
Yeah, no. It would be great to talk about meditation again. And I think, the best is to start by demystifying the meditation for me, for people that are listening to us and people that are thinking why I should do meditation. That's, I think, for me, the interesting stuff. The funny thing that I saw a friend on Sunday and we talked about that. We talked about the
No
different
way.
kind of, yeah, not kidding. We talked about the different kind of meditation and, the way we were meditating and why. And she introduced me to a new kind of meditation, which I didn't know about, which is a more visualization of yourself as kind of a superior human being, and you have people also around you. But anyway, I will talk about that later. But the thing is, why are you meditating? So if people ask ourselves, what can I gain from meditating, or why do you do that on yourself? And I know it doesn't look like a
Well,
conversation, but I just want to know why you're doing it yourself.
oh yeah, and also like we already talked about it, but we talked about it many times. And I think 10 weeks ago or like 3 months ago, I don't really remember what we talked in that first one, but still, I can only talk from my own experience and my own experience with meditation. I would say why the first why I meditate is because I feel the need of it, but it's probably now because I've experienced the benefit of it that now my
Mm-hmm.
first why is I just feel the need of it to be balanced, to be aligned. I think my first why was exploration. And what is really funny is that in my meditation this morning, I thought about literally recording guided meditation like Jamie does. My partner, Jamie, she started, she's doing yoga and meditation, and she's really good at meditations. She has such a soothing voice, and she records now meditation and she put them on Insight Timer. So I was meditating this morning and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking of what I was doing at the moment, and I was exploring myself. So I was thinking about doing exploration meditation. And for me, that's a why. That's for me, meditation
But
helps
where
me
where it was, because you said like for you it was sorry,
see inside me.
I just want to go deep inside that before
Yeah.
you go on something else. Is you said like I wanted to explore. So what triggered you to explore? This is what I'm interested about. Did you read about it? Did you see videos about
Hmm.
it? Did you or you were just like nah, why not?
Well, I think I don't have I don't have any big moment that I say, oh yeah, it's because of that I started. I think it's just an overall concept in the self-development world when we always say like do some introspection, do look inside yourself, know yourself. Well, for me, meditation is is like a is like a playground or more a perfect setup to go and explore yourself because you are in complete silence. You shut down like you shut down most of your senses, and that triggers a lot of things in you, so you can just really be inside you and then explore what's there. And when I say explore, I explore my emotions, I explore my internal dialogue, I explore what my mind say, what my heart say, and I dialogue with myself in some ways. And I'm exploring by also it's like I'm doing a auto psychoanalysis, I don't know if you can say that, but of myself. It's like I'm the therapist, and I'm also the client when I talk to myself, and I talk to my heart, and I talk to my brain, and I just try to go deep into why I feel this way. Why yesterday I felt overwhelmed. Why 5 days ago I felt I was super grounded, that everything was going well, and then or that I felt that my abundance around money was really grounded, and that I made investment that would make sure that I don't need to fear about money anymore. And why is yesterday it's coming back? There's a trigger, that there's something. So I'm going inside and I'm trying. I go and I go see and talk with myself. I explore what's inside of me. So that's for me that's what it is, exploration meditation. And it really helps. It really gives me clarity. I would say that the two most powerful one for me is to explore myself, because it gives me clarity. I can really see what's going on inside. And the more I understand what's going on inside, the more everything is clear. And on the other side, it's gratitude meditation. For me, gratitude meditation is probably the most powerful of the two, because it just uplifts everything of me. It's like all my doubts, all my worries go away when I focus on being grateful for everything that's in my life. So those are the two that for me, myself, that I do. I never really did like the more traditional. I mean, I did Vipassana for a 10-day, which was really good. And the meditation is another type, and it's
You're
really
going too fast. You're
intense.
going too fast. You're going to lose like everyone.
Oh, yeah?
Just say to
Okay.
them like, yeah, you look inside, you ask questions, people are going to be like, what? You see, this is exactly why I rejected meditation at the beginning, and I tried multiple times. For me at the beginning, it was like, yeah, people talking, yeah, you look inside yourself and all that. I was like, that's for drugs people, people at Burning Man or hipsters, yeah, whatever. That was my first experience with meditation. I was like, because obviously we are in, and maybe it's because the field we're in, the entrepreneurship world, we have a big influence coming from the Silicon Valley, obviously, and everybody was talking about that. Everybody's talking about how you can be better, how you can be, well-being, walking barefoot naked and having chickens inside your office and all that, because it relaxes you to have chicken inside your office. Which makes a great joke, by the way, by Trevor Noah, that was saying something like, guys, you were making fun of the people in Africa, but we have chicken like running everywhere. So anyway.
In Hawaii also. In Hawaii, there's fucking chicken everywhere.
And it's funny because and this is my first experience with meditation. Was like, I felt that it was like, if you want to be an entrepreneur and if you want to be in a startup, you had to meditate. It was almost in the checklist, the famous checklist. And to be honest, it stuck to me only last year or 2 years ago, something like that. I don't know why. I can't explain to you why. I did the meditation, guided more around, focusing on one sense, like your breath, or your feelings in your hands, or the sounds around you. I did that. I think it depends on you, what works for you. For me, the breath works real well. The inhale, exhale, inhale for 4 seconds, keep it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds. But yeah, that was my first experience with meditation, which is, it's an hipster thing.
And what would, but
people
but you
with
say
beard,
you don't know
people
why,
with
but...
beard and long hair drink mate.
Yeah, they have to drink mate.
That's a new thing. What's a new thing in the bingo?
Yeah, now everybody asks if I'm Argentinian when they meet me, because when they see me having mate. But tell me why. Tell me, because you say you don't know why, but tell me what would be your take on it. On why did it stick? Why? I'm sure you can have an answer to that if you look.
Why it didn't stick? I think it's because just for me, thinking about sitting down and doing nothing for 10 minutes was inconceivable. I needed to be like, I needed to move around and be in action. I needed, for me, it's like you're not doing anything if you're not in action. And I need to be always in action. I don't like the waiting time. Don't like that much. I learned that in cooking. For example, when you do croissant, you need to let it rest. You need to understand that when you let it rest, it still works. But in myself, I think that was the thing about saying, because 10 minutes, it's approximately a good time, that if you start, I believe that 10 minutes is good. Don't go for like some people that say, oh yeah, I meditate for 2 hours. Who has 2 hours in their life when you have kids and everything? So yeah, 10 minutes, but I was like, no, I'm not staying like 10 minutes. without doing anything.
And that's a really funny that's a really funny thing, because I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to that. And also, that's the funny thing about meditation, because when you just tell yourself, I know you now you meditate and you've come over that, but if I would be talking to the Phil at that moment, I would say to him, if you fear or if you feel uncomfortable being still, it's because there's something there that you need to check, because because it would not be normal in a way. Because when you look at the most healthiest thing in life, you can think about normal, untouched nature. And what is nature? It's so evolutive. It's always growing, always moving, but also is so still. It has such a force by being still. And what you don't see, I think, is that when you think that there's no action because your body doesn't move, you need to be aware that inside of you, it's your mind is going nuts. Sometimes I meditate and I just cannot concentrate. My mind is just rolling around all these concepts, all these ideas. And I know we're talking about thoughts, but still it's thoughts are a thing, and they are something that's moving, that is in action. And you're just, well, some people would say you have to control them. In my opinion of it, you don't have to control them. You have to let them calm by themselves. And I would quote,
in my opinion, you can't control them. So that's
yeah.
It's like emotion. It's like emotion.
The more you try to control them,
emotion, you're like, yeah.
Oh no, you can. I mean, you can direct your emotion. You can control your emotion, but your thought is, it's a tricky thing. It's not that you cannot control them, is that you cannot force control them. If you try to force control them, they're gonna just unleash even more.
But it's like your emotion. But you can't force control your emotion. If you feel annoyed, you will feel annoyed anyway. It's not. But you can tame it. It's exactly the same thing. And I understood that. It was part of a journey. It was like,
yeah, exactly. And you can have indirect control, because let's say you decide to focus on your breath. You by focusing on your breath, you calm your mind. So in a way, you control it. You just not force control it by focusing on shutting down your thought. You just put your focus somewhere else, but you do it that consciously, and then you control your breath, or you focus on your breath, and then it shut down your mind. So in a way, you're controlling it, but it's indirect control. So I think that's a really, well, in fact, I never read that anywhere. And now that I'm saying it, that's exactly what I feel it is. It should be explained that way. You cannot force control your thought, but you can control them indirectly by focusing your attention on something else, which will calm your mind.
And stress is the same, and emotions are the same. But like I couldn't focus. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to show you because of that. Because I had the habits, and everyone has the habits. So I'm showing my phone right now on the camera, which is based on habits, right? When I was waking up, and I'm kind of explaining that in what I'm writing right now. When I was waking up, the first thing I was doing is checking my phone. I was checking my mails, checking my Slack, now very Slack, but Slack is from 2 years ago, right? So no more than that, sorry. 5 years ago, something like that. So I was checking my Slack, I was checking my emails. This has been done since 12 years or something like that. And you create these habits. And I think the fact that I couldn't stay still was being uncomfortably not checking that. It was like I had the trigger to check my phone. I had the trigger to do something else. I had the trigger that this is what I want to do now. It's like, you're giving me my drug, give me my drug back. And you can see that in a lot of people, you know, like you see that when people are sitting down at a restaurant and they're waiting for someone, or someone goes to the toilet, or they're waiting for in line, you know, or something like that, you know, the first thing that they do, check their phone. Where now, for example, and because I meditate and because I did that work, I can, you know, start to gaze around. So I'm not in a meditation state. I'm not in this, you know, don't close my eyes in the middle of a restaurant while I'm waiting for someone. But I don't know, I will gaze around, fix one point.
Sometimes I do it.
That must be cool. But it's something I'll learn. It's something I'll learn. But you're right. I think, but that's something you'll learn through meditation, right? You didn't know that you could control. I mean, you could direct your thoughts.
No,
if I do.
no, totally not.
How did you know that? Ben?
Well, like I told you before, when I was about 25 years old, I really got this inside drive to find answers. That's where I started really immersing myself into self-development, and right when you go into that, you come across meditation so fast. That's a part of it, and me too. At first, I was not able to meditate, and I would try it, and like when I'm talking about the gratitude meditation, I found that maybe a year ago, and I've started meditating like 7-8 years ago, and I would not be able to have a consistent routine at all. I would do it for like everything in my life before. I would do it for like maybe 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and then miss 1 day, and then oops, and start another day, and then oop, and finally I'm missing 3 months, and I want to start back, and I didn't know where to go. I didn't know at that time, like when I started, there was not much like super nice guided meditation app and things like that, like Headspace was not there, which is the first one I've came across. Maybe Insight Timer was there. Well, I didn't know about it, and I was just trying by myself. I was reading a bit how you should meditate, and I was trying, and it was just hard. It made no sense, and I didn't get really benefit from it. So, like you, it's not that I was not able to sit still. It's just that I was really like waiting for the benefits. I was like, I don't feel change. Like, why do everyone say it's good? I don't feel change.
You know, you stay 3 minutes, you start doing breathing, and then afterwards you're like, damn pissed.
Yeah, you're like, well, okay, and what's next? Like, but I will take again your example that you said a couple times, which I really love. It's exactly like brushing your teeth. You don't see the result of brushing your teeth on an everyday basis, but you know that if you do it, you're gonna have nice teeth. And that's the same thing. That's exactly the same thing. You won't, but sometimes you will go out of the meditation and you will feel that light feeling, and really like you can feel that you have something that's more just peaceful, which is great. But most of the time you would just get out of it, and like after you brush your teeth, it's the same thing. You don't really feel it. But I would say that if you do it every day for a week, I'm 99% sure that in your 7 days, you will have one moment that you will really feel lighter. You will feel more peaceful. Something will shift. There will be a little something that you didn't have before, or if you listen closely, or you would just get a smile on your face all day long after it. There's gonna be something. 7 days, if you do it every day, for me, I think it's enough to really start to feel the real little benefit of meditating. And then after that, if you do it more, it's just going to be better. For me now, if I speak for me, now it's so weird because it has become something that is a necessary part of my well-being. And like drinking water, maybe not water because you have to do it every day. That's not a good example, but I don't know, like if I go too long without meditating and without taking time to be grateful about things, I will feel unbalanced. I will have my mental strength, my mental stability, my strength, my clarity is gonna lower until I get back to meditation, and then it just go back up.
Yeah,
And I feel
for me, it's
just
like
so
the
good when I
gym.
do it.
For me, it's like the gym before my
Yeah,
brain.
exactly.
It's exactly like the gym for my brain. Like if I don't go to the gym, or I mean, don't go to the gym, COVID times. If I don't go train, whatever you go, if I don't go train for a while, like I become restless, and it's a bit like that. It becomes like that where I need to go back to, okay, I need to meditate back. I need to, whatever meditation I'm doing, doesn't matter the time, the one I'm doing, I need to get back to that where it's like, okay, I'm going back to meditate. I'm going back to think about it and everything. And it regulates my emotions. This is what I believe. For me, this is what I believe. I believe that it regulates my emotion. I feel more stable. But I guess in what you said, you know, what it's, and I think you said 2 times this thing, and it's really important, is that when you start meditating, because I remember it, your brain goes wild. When for the first time you sit down, and yeah, even if you do a guided meditation, like, you know, brief, blah, 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 at the beginning, your brain is going to go wild because it's the first time you stand still. It's suddenly like you have all your thoughts that are coming in. Like, it's like, you're like, there is so many stuff that I need to do today. I can't stop. And it's really like that. But as you said, you know, after a week, you start not controlling that. I will not say controlling that, but it's like you start to be able to focus in the meditation process, and you start to be able to, you know, being able to have some clarity inside it. But I can't believe you can control your thoughts in itself, direct your thoughts. I like that. Direct your thoughts. I really like that. Controlling, no. It's like controlling your emotion. Nope. Regulate your emotion. Yes. Directing your emotions, maybe. Controlling, there is no way you can do that. It's impossible for me. But it's me, you know.
Yeah, it can just be done through indirect control.
Yeah.
I think one of the big shift that happened in meditation, or I think I phrased it badly. I think it's more what meditation become really good for you when you understand, when it clicks for you that you are not your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because what hurts when you're meditating at first is that you think you think that all these thoughts are generated from you, and you think that in some way they are all attached to you. And the moment you just become an observer, always hear that, like, become the observer of your thought. But
Mm-hmm.
that's really what it is. The moment, and becoming the observer is more, you know, that's, I had a really funny comparison that I would explain to my parents, because my parents are probably my number one fans, and they are really amazing because because they know that I'm like the black duck. I don't know if you say that, but the black sheep, like of the crew, of the family, and but they are really they're not close-minded. They really want to learn the things I talk about and everything. So I remember I talked to them about meditation, and my father is really a big fisherman. He really loves to fish. So I remember that I came up with a really good comparison with like a fisherman comparison about it. So basically, in your mind, you all the thoughts that you have are like hooks on a line that just try to get at you and hook you to give your attention there. And then the only thing you have to do is to realize that all the thoughts are just trying to get your attention. And then by trying to hook you, it's aligned with a hook. Each thought is aligned with a hook. And the only thing you have to do is just realize that's what they are doing, and to just, in fact, you have the power to not let them hook you. You just dodge. You're just there and you just dodge everything by knowing they are just trying to get your attention. And the funny thing is, if they don't succeed, if a thought goes by and try to get your attention and don't succeed, it would just go away. So you just stay there like an eye of the storm, and you just observe. And when you become the observer, it's like you're out of the line of sight of these thoughts. They're just hooked, running around, trying to hit something, but you're not there anymore. You're just observing all that show. And then, even if there's a chaos of thoughts, you are outside of it. And it doesn't bother you anymore. So you're not trying to remove the chaos of thoughts. You're just trying to not be in the midst of it, to be hooked by everything, and to just, because when they hook you, when one thought hook you, that's where it triggers an emotion. And then an emotion rise, and more thoughts arise, and more emotion rise. And it's just like a negative spinning wheel. So when you remove that from there, the chaos is still there, but you're in the peace side. And now you can enjoy the benefit of it. And by looking at it, you look at yourself. You look at what's going on in your mind. And it makes you just become more humble and more knowing of what you are, of what you think about. And then you can analyze yourself. You can say, why am I thinking that? Why is that thought there? Where did that come from? And because you are out of the chaos, you can have the time and the space to reflect on that. If you are in the midst of a storm, your only thinking is to try to get out of the storm. But if you're looking at a storm, you can analyze a storm. Like if you're in a bunker and you look at the tornado, you don't feel threatened by the tornado. You just look at a tornado and you're like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Look at that. And why did it do it this way? But if you're in the field and the tornado's coming, you don't think about analyzing the tornado. You're just fucking running around trying to escape, which is the same thing in your mind. So yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about, I mean, you talked about, because I did meditation because of all the benefits that it brings you, that has been proven, by the way. I think you're talking about two main benefits from, I mean, there is multiple, but like there is, first one, the one you're talking about right now, is self-awareness. I think that's the main benefit that I got from meditation is just being capable to understand how your brain works, or what are the things that are coming and where. So obviously, like we're saying, okay, like you see, I like the image, that I had from, so I'm using Calm, for example, to meditate, because it's, I think, the guided meditation and all that. Until one day someone told me that, the person that is doing the guided meditation sounds like a porn star. And now each time I'm listening to it, I'm like, that sounds like a porn star. So I'm fucked now. But anyway,
you're fucked.
Yeah, because it's like I'm listening to that and I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a porn. Anyway, so I'm doing something else. If you want to better sound, I'm just saying that Chris Hemsworth, is doing meditation also, but he may be aroused by that, so just maybe not the best thing. But I mean, I think it's Tamara Levitt. She takes a good image. She says, like, imagine that your thoughts. Imagine that you're looking at the sky, and your thoughts are clouds, and they're just passing by. They're just passing by. You're just looking at them, and they're just passing by, and you're just contemplating the sky. And I thought it was a good image, because it's like, yeah, that's what it is. It's like, if because you can transpose that in the real life, where you sit down on a bench, you just look at the sky, and you look at the clouds, going by. It's exactly the same image in your head with your thoughts. And so the self-awareness thing, because obviously after that, understanding where we're coming from and all that, it's another level of meditation. I think that obviously everybody can do it, but the first step is at least being capable to just see the thoughts going by and not being affected by it, which is already a big thing. I think this self-awareness thing is one of the main benefits that you can have. The second one that you talked about, which is reducing stress and anxiety, I think that's also another benefit of it. Like reducing stress, it's you can't control stress. Like you can't control it, it will come out. But just being able to say, you know what, I know where it's coming from, and I'm just gonna, push it back down because I know where it's coming from. I think that's just amazing.
And because you're pointing that out, I gotta say something that's really important on that, is that because we're talking about it, and that's the truth. That's true. That's how it works. But most people, they fear facing themselves. They fear going inside. They fear standing there and trying to look at their own shit. Because mostly that, like, let's be honest, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna look inside and see at your own shit what's going on. You're gonna see the beauty. If you look correctly, you will also see the beauty. But if you haven't done any meditation, that would be the first time you look in that window, and you may not like what you see in the window. But
it's because, yeah, go for it, sorry. Yeah, go for it.
No. It's just because you're talking about reducing anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
But in order to do so, in order to achieve that, you got to go through. You got to go into your stress, into your anxiety by looking at it. And at the beginning, you won't be able to get outside of it. You just will be in the storm of anxiety and stress, and you'll be like, oh man, I cannot stay there for 10 minutes. And maybe not,
yes,
but
yes and no,
it's
because
better
you
to
can
think about it.
As you said, I think you can, so that's another, I'm talking about all the benefits at the same time, but that's another benefit that you talked about, which is you direct your attention somewhere else. So you're capable to focus on something else. So, when I talk about breathing, because that's the easiest one, that's really the easiest one. Like everybody can do that, whether you're at work, whether you're I was doing it in the tube, in the subway in London, because I'm standing there doing nothing. So I was just gazing around, focusing on my breath, inhale, exhale. And the thing is that when you have stress, you can come back to that and be like, okay, I'm going to focus on my breath. Where maybe you have done that also in the evenings, just before going to sleep, when you're thinking about a lot of stuff, just before going to sleep, which happens a lot because your mind sometimes reminds you stuff. You go back to the breath and you focus on that, and suddenly you calm down. So at that point, I feel that you're not understanding why you're stressed. You're not controlling, I don't like, you're not, trying to manage your stress. I think you're avoiding it. You're kind of avoiding it by putting your attention somewhere else. And this is why I'm saying it's two-sided. And I know what you're saying, because also I'm at your point where I look inside me and everything, I discover some bad stuff. But this is what is scary. I think everybody has a dark side. Everybody is, we're two-sided. I think we talked about that in one of our podcasts, like the hero journey, like fighting, to get the light, and, you understand that there is darkness and you have to accept the darkness also. But it's just acceptance. We come back to that.
Oh man, that's exactly what I was about to say. You cannot talk about that and not talk about acceptance, because I think that's probably one of the biggest key in being able to meditate. And when I was talking about dissociating yourself from your thoughts, I think to do that, you have to just accept everything that's there. You got to accept that you're anxious. You got to accept that you're stressed. You got to accept that you have shit that you never wanted to see, that now you have the courage to see. You accept all the good things. You accept all the bad things. And then
and just one thing,
huge power.
Yeah, accepting for me doesn't mean that you have to stay that way, and doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. Doesn't mean that you don't want to change it. Just mean that you agree that this is the statement, this is the status where you're in, this is the ground zero. When you're starting it, when you're starting it, this is the ground zero, and from there you do whatever you want. That's the thing, also like through acceptance. Exactly. Like acceptance doesn't mean that you have to be, what is the word? Contempt, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
It doesn't
exactly
have to do
what you mean.
It's I should find a better word.
No, it's perfect. But basically the process is take a snapshot of everything that you are right now and accept that snapshot of being the snapshot of the actual moment. And then know that if there's things in that snapshot that you don't like or that you don't want to be, that you don't want into your future life, or then by accepting all of it, that gives you the power to change it. It's really, it gives you power. It's really weird. Like accepting who you are gives you power to, like you're taking on, well, is the cheesy phrase of Spider-Man. If you take on the responsibility of everything, you have great power. You have the power to transform yourself.
With great powers becomes great responsibilities.
or other way around too.
Yeah, but it comes back to a story I was telling
great responsibility.
And you told me also multiple times, you know, like I don't remember if it was last week or I don't know if it was a week before. You said that you didn't feel good within yourself and you were thinking about that. And I think this is also a benefit where you go through that process way more quickly. I told you about this week about my my Instagram on food. And you know, like I was telling you, I don't know, like I don't like it right now. I know there is something wrong. I'm doing something with the podcast that we're doing. I know there is something wrong with that. And the cool thing is that because I've meditated, because I've done this process about understanding my thoughts, because I'm going quicker to that process. I'm not saying that this process doesn't happen. This process still happens, but you go quicker through that process. And I'm like, okay, I understand why it bothers me. And now I'm trying, and you told me a solution because you're like, you know me, and I'm trying to find a solution. It's not all made yet, but it's going towards, you know, what I like based on what I say, because I understand myself better. So coming back to what we say, you know, self-awareness, reducing stress, controlling, directing your emotions, or at least managing them. And that's, and you said that also multiple times in the podcast where you were like, this is bothering me. Like and you were like, you know, I don't like that.
And I mean, the time goes by so fast, man. When I talk with you, it's so nice.
It's okay.
I think I want to say that I want to talk about the different kind of meditation because.
Before we do that, can I have my scientific proof first? Why you should do meditation?
Sure.
So
sure.
because I'm listening to that. So I think it was Carnegie Mellon that did a study on that. Don't remember the year. Doesn't matter. So if you don't that for you, first of all, you should know some stuff. Supposedly, like, okay, whether like obviously reducing stress and all that, meditation help with focus. So if you want to be better at work, for example, meditation help with focus, which is good. It has been proven by studies. Other thing, it has an impact on gray matter. And gray matter, for example, you know, this is what they notice, like when you have like deficiency in memory and all that. So if you're doing meditation, it should improve also your memory. Normally, I don't know about the rest of the study because I don't remember everything, but I know that, you know, they talked about another study that I'm going to talk about. You know, when you play chess, they notice exactly the same plasticity in your brain. When you can work on your plasticity in your brain. And so they notice that people that are playing chess have less chances, for example, reducing the fact that they're going to get, for example, Alzheimer or that kind of disease. So they are trying to link right now meditation with that, which is really interesting. So it's like, you know, if you don't do it because it's cool, or if you don't do it because you think it has a benefit, it has like benefit that have been showed by studies on the brain. And I think just that should say to everyone, you know what, I should give it a try. And if you don't do it for you, do it for yourself, do it for the others. Because if as we say, you're more self-aware, you're going to be like less a pain in the ass maybe on a discussion. And on a fight with someone else. Do it for your partner, do it for your kids, do it for your friends. I don't know. Because it's pretty sure you're a pain in the ass for someone. So if you're, and I'm still a pain in the ass, even if I'm doing meditation. So
that's a good benefit. I love it. If you don't want to be a pain in the ass for others or even for yourself, then try meditation. Exactly. But you're right. You're right. It's. I mean, you don't need a study to understand that. It's like working a muscle. If you work your bicep every day, it's gonna become stronger, healthier, whatever. If you train your mind to be focused, there's gonna be benefit in your mind that's gonna rise out of it. Now
Yeah.
we got to have peer review studies on saying what are the benefits. But in yourself, you know it. If you train your mind, you're gonna get benefits.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
just
just for the skepticals, Just for
I know, and
skepticals.
I that's our dynamic. You are the scientific more guy, and I'm more the conceptual guy, and I love it
So
this way.
yeah, tell me about the different kind of meditation that you know of. Maybe I will share also
Yeah,
some of those.
it's not that I know a lot of kind of meditation. My point was more to tell people that would like to go into meditation that there are multiple types of meditation, and it's not like meditation is not one thing. It's not, let's say you would try one and you really don't connect with it, it's not over for meditation. Let's just say yoga, you have so many type of yoga you can do, and one you can totally hate, and the other one you feel so good when you do it. It's the same thing with meditation. I was talking about exploration meditation, I was talking about gratefulness meditation. The vipassana meditation
So what
is
is
one.
vipassana? So you talked about sorry, exploration meditation. So what is, in one sentence, what is exploring meditation? Exploration meditation.
Well, I'm not an expert in meditation, but my answer to that would be that it's to explore your inside self. It's to explore your it's explore what's going on inside. So for me, that
Is
would
it like,
be.
for example, I don't know, like I'm trying to find, someone that is guiding that. Is it like, for example, try to feel, your finger? Is it part of the exploration? Is it exploring your body also, or is it just
That
your
could,
thoughts?
yeah, that could be. Maybe exploration meditation is too large. For me, what it means is to explore your inner world. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not really your physical world, but it could be explore your feelings into your body. So that could be a type. You see, like there's subtypes of meditation also.
Yeah,
So there's
I don't know.
so
I don't
many.
know if it's called
There's so many.
exploration meditation. I'm not an expert also, but it's just that this one I
Uh,
liked it. I tried
yeah.
it one time. I liked it. It's funny to,
Well,
when we see this kind of stuff. It's funny to try to feel, because it's not something you do. Like you're just waiting like that, and you're trying to feel the tingling, and you can like succeed after a
yeah.
certain time, like tingling, and it's yeah.
Well, there's two types, and I'm so sad that I don't remember the name. But there's one meditation that you just lay down and you just go through all of your body by feeling all of the part of your body.
Oh,
And I will put.
is it yoga nidra? Is
Yes,
it the yoga?
exactly, yoga
That's the yoga
nidra.
nidra. Oh yeah, but
It,
I tried it. I fell asleep.
yeah, well, that's one to fall asleep. That's one to go
You're not
asleep.
to,
That's the
so this
main
one you're
purpose
not
of this
supposed
one.
to. Yeah, because this one, if I remember well, is that it puts you in a state between sleeping and awareness. It's like you're in this state where you're in between.
Yeah,
That's what it's supposed to be, and it's something that lasts 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And yeah, you're laying down, and
yeah,
each
but
time I fell asleep. But anyway.
well, for me, that's the main benefit of this one is for people that are stressed and cannot go to sleep. That's a really good one to
Yeah.
just get out of your head and into your body, and it really calms you down. And at some point, it's because also I think I'm gonna be the scientific right now, so it lowers your heart rate, and at some point when your heart rate get low enough, it just trigger your parasympathetic
Yeah.
system, and then you get into sleep. So you see this physical effect of meditation on the
Yeah.
body.
Meditation
So
is
that would be
part
nice.
of reducing your resting rate. So this is something
Yeah.
that people should measure. By the way, I'm measuring it. You should like try to have a resting rate that is as low as possible. Training, food, meditation can help you like controlling it.
Yeah,
Scientific part done.
totally.
But you can
So
see.
so if so so we talked about exploration meditation, gratefulness meditation in one word, one sentence. Sorry, would be just think about everything that you can be grateful of in your life.
Mhm.
And I really love, like, I think the first level of that is just thinking about everything that's going well. So if nothing's going well, you're like trying to find something that's going well, like I can't breathe and I'm not dead. Like that's like the last one you can take. But the second level and third level of gratefulness, I'm also being grateful for everything that's shit. I'm also being
Mm-hmm.
grateful for, and now I finish all my meditation by my ending phrase is always thank you for everything, because everything, my life is a sum of everything that's in it. And if I'm happy, it means that the everything that contributes to also my fears and everything that's a bit less good in my life, that's a whole package. It's there and I have to accept it. It's like accepting your light and your dark. So I finish by that. But at the beginning, don't focus on that. At the beginning, I would just say find everything that you like in your life, and by just trying to search for it and trying to think about it, it would just build your muscle of positivity,
Mm-hmm.
which is I which is I think one of the most important benefit of the gratefulness meditation. It builds your muscle of positivity. And now the more you do it, the more when a situation happens, you will be able a situation happen, you're going to be able to see the positive in it. You're going to be less shaken by it, and all of that. The Vipassana meditation is the meditation that was taught by Buddha, the original. I mean, the Buddha, Gautama, Siddhartha. I don't remember his whole name, but um, was the original meditation, which the main purpose was to get yourself out of suffering, to remove all suffering in your life, because the main point is that there is pain, but you create the suffering. The suffering is all in you, and you can detach yourself from all the suffering that you can live in your life by doing that meditation. And it helped. I mean, it's Buddha. It helped so many people, and the Vipassana meditation is such a powerful one. And but I would say it's a more advanced one. I would say it's
But what is it?
intense. You got
What is it? What does it consist about? Like, what
well
do you do?
well one thing about Vipassana meditation is when you do it, you understand that you cannot really teach it until you've done the the road to become a teacher of Vipassana, because it's a fixed procedure. There's 200 about 200 Vipassana center in the world that are all non-profits, that are all financed by people who have finished the course. It's all free. It's all donation based and charity based. So people go there to give their time. And everywhere in those 200 center, it's the same process. It's the same video of the same uh, teacher. I would say this Sri. I don't have his name on my tongue right now, but and it's all the same. And you have to go through a process to get some insight about the beginning of the Vipassana meditation, and then if you do it correctly at the end, when you finish the 10 days, now it's like you understand. But what I could say is that it's a scanning meditation. You are inside yourself and you scan your cells. You scan, literally, the process is to scan your cells, and that's the only thing you have to do, because by doing it, it will generate things that you have to deal with. So that's, and it can be really powerful. It can be really intense what come out of that meditation, of that scanning. And that's another one. And there's tons of types of meditation. So my point was not to elaborate on each one. My point was just so many of them. So if you want to start getting all these benefits of meditation, well, don't stop after one that you don't like. There's one that you will like. Just continue to explore and see that as an adventure to find what meditation fits for you, because there's one. There's one. Everyone can meditate and everyone can get benefit out of it. I do believe that deep, deep, deep in my heart. And I encourage people to do it, because it just, the life that we like, let's just come back to more of the reality, like the life that we live today, the society, just that COVID fucking situation in the world is just craziness all around. So it's the same representation. The outside world could be the same representation of your inside world. There's chaos all around you on the outside, where on the inside, sometimes there's chaos all around in your mind with your thoughts and your fears and everything. Well, if you want to be the eye of the storm in the real world, you have the opportunity to learn how to do that by doing it in yourself, to be the eye in the storm of the chaos of your thought, and it will develop in you the calmness, the peacefulness, the positivity, the seeing opportunity instead of problem vision that you can translate in the normal world, in the reality, which is chaos all around if you look at it. So that's the transposition of the same thing, and you can learn how to deal better with your life by dealing better with your inside world. You can deal better with the outside world, which I think like we've been picky on the benefits and all that, but I think that the global picture would be that. It's exactly that. You deal better with your whole life outside when you deal better with your whole life inside. And it's way easier and it's way more important to be able to deal with your inside life, and it will expand on your outside life, than to try to do the opposite.
Yeah, totally. I think it's, we come back to connecting with your true self. People are disconnected right now, all over, and social media, internet obviously contributed to that. And I'm not going to say anything about social media because it has its benefits also. So I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I don't like social media. Like some people say like, oh yeah, social media is so bad and everything, even if you're promoting on social media, so which is bullshit. But the thing is people don't know how to connect with other people. And I think they don't know how to connect with other people because, and this is the problem with you right now, that you're not capable to have discussions with people. You're not capable to have like real relationship with people because they're disconnected from the world. They're disconnected from themselves. They're disconnected from others. What you said about gratitude, and this is what I love about this one, is that you're showing love towards the rest of the world and what it's happening around you and what's happening to you. So you're increasing your love, but how can I say that? Your love, you're increasing your love battery that you're capable then afterwards to use to go around the world like a Care Bear, like the Care Bear with a heart. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Yeah, he's like attacking with a heart and everything. Remember the Care Bears?
I didn't know it was the English name for it.
Yeah, it's Care Bear.
I just remember Kalinours.
And that's the thing, because like when you see people right now are really anxious about everything, or really stressed about life, or really stressed about work, you see a lot of kids, a lot of young people that are trying or committing suicide. And I think it's because, they're really, disconnected from everything that is happening and their emotions and all that. And it's something that, even if it's not for our generation, because our generation is kind of fucked already, for the rest that is coming up, teaching those meditation, teaching those things, maybe that will be a cool thing. Maybe that will be a cool thing that if you have kids is like, how do you meditate? How do you control, how do you manage your emotions and everything?
and what is really funny is that try to find me someone that is a really fucking bad person because he meditates too much. It's just
someone that has just too much impossible. Time. Yes, that's the thing. Something I want to say, like, because I talked about that earlier. You don't have to sit down in your room in the dark to meditate. Okay, like this. I think this is bullshit.
No,
this is bullshit.
Bullshit.
You can sit down on a bench if it's too cold where you live, you can sit down inside a coffee place. You can, wherever you want, you can meditate. And I like, like, I don't
Well,
remember who was the guy that you were talking about in New York, that said like, because all these things like Vipassana, it's fine, but it's kind of a London thing also, when I was in London, everybody was going on those retreat or 1 or 2 weeks. They felt like connecting with nature and with themselves. And all right, and then they come back to London and they come back to, partying and drugs and alcohol and all that. And you're like, okay. So basically it's like you do that during the whole year. You go back, you go wherever for 10 days and you come back and you think you're fine, you discovered yourself again. So what was the name of the guy like you talked about that in New York? You remember?
oh, Dan the Pani, the monk.
Oh yeah.
Dan the Pani. Yeah. And what you just said, I want to say two things. One thing is that yes, it would be better that you keep your healthy habits when you come back to your life, but it's way better that you go to that 10-day than to not go at all, and because it will have an impact on you. It may take 5 years of going before you really do the shift in your normal life and say like, look, I'm feeling that my life is unhealthy, and when I go there I feel so good. So why wouldn't I bring that back into my life? And I wanted to say a funny thing when you were talking about where you meditate. I think there's a correlation on a graph. So we're talking about the whatever attitude. Well, the more you have a whatever attitude, the more places you can meditate. You can be in a bar and not give a fuck and just close your eyes for 5 minutes and just meditate. You can even meditate when you pee. Like you can just meditate wherever you want to just ground you back.
Take a break. Go sit down. Doesn't matter.
The other day, I was in a bar with Jamie, and I did a live meditation with a glass of wine with people around. And the day I called you to say that I didn't want to do social media and shit like that, or be the one that was taking care of it. And it was because I had the meditation in a bar and I was eating popcorn and drinking wine. And then I said, okay, I'm just going to meditate for 10 minutes. And I did an out loud one. And I was talking with Jamie of what was going on in my head. And I mean, people would have seen that. They would think I'm fucking crazy. And I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. It's just, I do what I think is good for me. And I think that's what is really important. If you think meditation is good for you, do it. If you think that it could be good for you, try it, and don't stop because one type of meditation you didn't click with. There's tons of types of meditation, and sometimes it may be hard. Sometimes life is testing you. Life is saying, oh yeah, you want to be better, you want to meditate, you want to change your life, perfect, then show me, prove to me. And then if it's not the first, it's going to send you in the first one, you don't like it, the second one don't like it. And the moment you want to stop, that's the moment you got to try another one. And that will be that one that will click with you. That's always how it happens.
Yeah, I have multiple also. Like, I don't have just one. Like, I like, for example, journaling, just not gratitude journaling, but just journaling, where it's like, I take my thoughts and I put them on paper. It's liberating. It's just liberating. But I write, like, it's like I write a lot. I have a little book. The cool thing is that this little book, you can bring it anywhere. Put it in your pocket. And you're like up, and you're like, as you said, in the bar, suddenly you're like thinking about something. You're like, okay, I'm gonna write down. It's amazing. Like when you do that, for example, when you're waiting for meetings or you're waiting for people or anything, you start to write down. Waiting for people, it's the best use of your time to meditate. Whether you wait for them 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, best time for you to meditate. Just stop anything, like put your phone on your pocket. You just gaze around, The breath for me was my starting point. I think like just putting a timer for 10 minutes, focusing on your breath, focusing on the inhale, exhale. Obviously, you're going to think, you're going to forget this thing because it's an automatic thing, but you're breathing. Otherwise, you will not be alive. So when you start drifting, you come back to it. Just doing that for 5 minutes at the beginning, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, just how you feel after, it's amazing. It's just amazing. It's almost like you're resetting your brain. It's almost like everything is, it's, what will be cool? You know what will be cool? that you record a meditation for people. That would be cool for the community of yours.
Well, I was thinking about it this morning, which is really funny. I may do that. And
You may.
in fact, I may, I may do
5-second rule. The 5-second rule. You thought too much about it.
Well,
you already had 2 days.
Start the recording and go and go. So I would say, just to finish, just being a bit more technical, there are really good meditation app. It's easier to start with a guided meditation. Let's be honest, it's easier because you can focus on the person talking, so it gets you out of your mind, but at the same time it calms you down. And what I would suggest is, when you do a guided meditation, when it finish, do a 10-minute by yourself after, because you're already in a really good state, and it's easier to do without the guidance and just do what you want in that 10-minute. So, but if you don't have time, don't do that. But if you want to start hard, start by yourself. And it's fine. You're going to grow maybe faster. But if it's really hard for you, and just start with a guided meditation. There are some amazing app for that. Mm-hmm. Headspace, one that are Calm. Paying, are Headspace, Calm. If you're French, Petit Bamboo is a really good one. And if you don't have any money, or you want to start free.
Yeah, just on Instagram.
On YouTube, you can find meditation and whatever.
Exactly.
But I would say that the best resource for free is Insight Timer. That's the biggest community of meditation in the world. Biggest app. You can and what I really love about this one is that there's a timer. That's the only thing I do. You set a timer. You can have a little background music, like background noise, and you just press play, and it would just do a gong, and then the little background music will play for 15 minutes. You set the time, and then the gong will pop at the end, and then you've done your time. But yeah, there's also free guided meditation, and you can pay to have more thing, but the free version is perfect. So there's a lot of
Calm as
out there.
Because I did it also with Calm. Calm as a 7-day. They have kind of a 7-day towards meditation. So it's quite cool to go through that. And you have a 30-day trial. So which means that, you can go through the 7 days, and you can stop afterwards if you want. But at least, it's a guided meditation for 7 days. It helps you, go into it. So, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the first time I did it was with the 7-day free meditation from Headspace. That's how I started. And by the way, no one of these companies pay us to say something about them.
Unfortunately.
That's because we tried them. Unfortunately, and it's because we tried them, and we like it, and we're willing to recommend them to you. So I think we're already have a good discussion.
So I'm just gonna finish on the main point that I said earlier. If we don't do it for you, do it for the others, because pretty sure you're in pain in the ass. Do it for the others.
Yeah, and and I would say, don't take it too seriously. Mm-hmm. Be yourself and have fun, even in meditation.
That's perfect. That was the closest. Yeah, that's perfect. Love that. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thanks for that amazing 10th episode, and see you next week.
10th episode.